A2Z Across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zitman.
And welcome to another edition of the A2Z Across LC podcast. I am Jeff Alsman. Cody.
Did you almost forget? I am Jeff Alsman.
I kind of choked a little bit there.
Sorry.
I told you.
I feel bad for making fun of you now.
I didn't bring my water in I needed. So, Mike Lemons is here setting in for Cody Zitman, who is our regular, well, there's not a whole lot regular about him. But anyway, he's our usual co-host of the podcast. And Mike is kind enough to sit in when Cody's off doing softball duties and athletic director duties, and he's pretty much doing that for most all of the spring. Once the calendar turns over, he has to kind of shift focus. So,
well, that's all right. I like being here, and I'm excited about our guest today, too.
Yes, we've got some neat things coming up. We have a Lewis and Clark Career Fair that's coming up shortly here in April. We're going to be talking about that later, and we're going to kick things off here in a little bit with Ethan Braasch, who takes care of all of I just call it the beautification of the campus. He takes care of all the landscaping and the planting, the flowers, just and all the sustainability and the way they do it. It's kind of, and it's really interesting to me because I'm just not good at that. My wife loves to do that sort of thing, but man, I kill everything I touch.
Well, I really am one of those weird people that like working in my yard. I like to cut grass.
I'd like to do that.
I like to do it, but I'm also kind of the bad person because, you should let some things just grow wild and naturally. And I treat mine and I get rid of weeds, and as a lot of homeowners do.
Sure.
But I think Ethan likes to talk about a balance, and we'll ask him some about the balance of that, but also talk about that big event that he has coming up.
Yeah, we got a big conference that will be on campus here as well that Lewis and Clark is hosting, and they're proud to do that. And yeah, it's a pretty big deal because all of the Ethans and such folks all around the state are coming in to talk, and I'd be afraid to be in front of them. I'm afraid I'd say something I probably shouldn't say, and not mean to, but just like I say, I'm just not. If I walk past a dandelion, it just kind of goes like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of me.
Well, then I've got a neighbor
that would
has
love
problems.
me to walk.
I need you to come on
house.
over and take care of that for him. I love this time of year though. It's we're back from spring break. And those second-year students are starting to finish, and they're excited about the next leg of their careers, and the weather's changed.
Yeah.
And, you got about 8 weeks left of the semester before it's over. I really, really love this time of year, energized from a bit of a break. And, man, I really, really always enjoy the last 8 weeks of spring semester just because you're starting to enroll for summer classes, and you've got commencement coming up, and enrolling, there's all those opportunities for scholarships that students can apply for. So it's really, really exciting time of year. And the two events we'll talk about today kind of lead into that.
It's kind of like everything just wakes up from a few months of sleep, and here we are. All the Rip Van Winkles, we've opened our eyes and we're ready to march forward.
We're ready to do it.
Do you want to take us out so we can get Ethan in here and talk about the important stuff?
Do I have to go as loud as Cody?
I'm going to leave that up to you.
We are
LC A2Z.
What's up? It's Mike Keith. What's up, bro? What's good, my guy? Back to spotlight other amazing alumni and how they discovered their path at Lewis and Clark. Let's jump into it. Chrissy Wiley and Alicia Bolin. Yes, they are rock star dental pros and proud Lewis and Clark grads. LC didn't just give them an education, it launched their careers. And now they're back, teaching in the same labs where it all started, helping the next generation discover their path.
She's Chrissy Wiley. And she's Alicia Bolin. And we are Trailblazers.
Welcome back to the A2Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman, Mike Lemons sitting in for Cody Zitman. And Mike, I was going to say co-host, but you're just kind of like one of the guys now.
Co-host, producer, whatever you want.
Whatever is needed for the assignment.
That's
you're
right.
the man.
I'm ready to go.
Hey, we've got a neat segment coming up. I think we've got Ethan Braasch with us. He's the manager of sustainability and campus environment here on campus, and I guess that's just a mouthful of ways of saying how he keeps things looking fantastic in every season. Does that kind of sum it up?
I think so. You tell us.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good summation of it. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm happy to be here. So basically what I do is I oversee all of the grounds on all of our campuses and then any of the sustainability efforts that Lewis and Clark pursues. So basically anything green. I'm the green guy. That's the
green guy. The green guy. So you know things are getting green around here for sure. Spring is upon us. Yeah, thank goodness. No kidding. And what kind of challenges does that bring to you? You know, coming out of the season of everything, you know, turning brown and gray, and now things livening back up. It probably puts a lot more on your plate.
It does. You know, I was just telling Mike this morning we were getting the lily pond fountains and the waterfalls running, so I actually got a little bit muddy today. So, but it's a nice change of pace after being stuck in the office all winter. So I'm happy to.
So do you have an extra pair of shoes in the office or in the area?
I do.
Several.
He has a bunch of them.
Actually, not at the moment, but I typically do have a change of clothes. Just
you got your water shoes, you got your mud shoes, you got your shoes when you have to go to HR, and then all board meeting shoes. You got all kinds of different shoes.
Yep.
I've heard of people wearing a lot of hats. You wear a lot of shoes.
Yep, that's true. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
So what's the first order of business this time of year? What has to happen on campus? I know for my house, right, it's about time. I cut my grass for the first time this past weekend, and you know, treating it, which I never said that around you, but some things like that. So what's first on your plate this time of year for the campus?
Yeah, that's a good question. We try to get the mulch out first thing. We actually did a pretty good job of getting the mulch out early on in the spring, and now we're looking to clean up any weeds, any that are coming up, Star Bethlehem, whatever happens to pop up through the mulch, and then, like you said, getting the grass cut. I cut my lawn on Saturday, and I think the guys are out there working hard as we speak. Just
so how does a weed grab the name Star of Bethlehem? That seems to be like counterproductive.
It's just the shape of the flower.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You'd be surprised at how I don't know, uncreative some plant names can be. They're colloquial names. You know, it's you might learn the scientific name, but everybody calls. That's why plant people like to use the scientific names, because it's definitive, whereas the colloquial names people call all sorts of things whatever.
Now, what's the I see it this time of year. I really noticed it this weekend across a lot of lawns in this area, and I saw it today walking in. It's like a purpley grass flower that's along the ground. Is that a weed? I mean,
thought that's moss. That's not moss.
Well, I have to know what I'm talking. I mean, I don't know if that's enough.
I mean, I have that like in my landscape.
It's like little purple flowers looking thing, but it's across a bunch of lawns. It's not like it's planted. It looks like it's kind of growing.
I'd have to see it. Yeah.
Oh, we've stumped him. We've stumped the
Well,
expert.
I didn't give him much.
No, you didn't. That's true.
Show me.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, if it's the same thing we're talking about, I have it in my landscape. So I'll take a picture.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some right outside the door, but I don't know.
Anyway. So what kinds of things do you have to do, though, to make sure that you don't get something that's weed infested, or what do they call the things that not mites, but the little not moles either, but the little underground bugs and all that kind of stuff. Do you have to watch for all that?
The grubs?
The grubs, that's what they are.
Yeah, so that's a good question. A lot of the grubs that we find in the landscape beds, if we're digging in the spring, a lot of it is Japanese beetle. So that tends to be an issue. They really like to munch on the rose bushes and any of the tropicals that we plant. So if we see them, if we're digging and I see one of those little guys, I toss it onto the sidewalk and feed the birds.
But you're kind of like the Mr. Rogers of all things nature, though, right? I mean, you don't hurt anything, right?
No, certainly not. No, but there's always a balancing act when you're trying to maintain the landscapes. I'd like to say, wilderness is totally uncontrolled, and I love the wilderness. I grew up out in the woods, and it's beautiful to me, but it's the opposite of a manicured environment. A garden is specifically something that requires human intervention and in order to maintain it. And you can do that for beauty or for food or for medicine. You can do it for all sorts of reasons, but you can't, as a gardener, you can't just say, well, anything goes, because then that's wilderness. That's totally uninhibited.
So sometimes sacrifices have to be made just in.
You have to be selective. Yeah, you do. And we try to do that as sustainably as possible. We minimize the amount of herbicides that we're using. We're very careful about the chemicals that we apply, but you can't get away with doing nothing necessarily, because things will get out of control. So everything's a balancing act.
I'm one of those guys. I had a conversation with him, I don't know, a couple of years ago maybe. I treat the lawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any weeds or anything in the lawn, and it's a nice lush green lawn that I think is right. But thank goodness I have an empty lot next to me that allows some of that to go, right? Is that balance enough, I hope?
Yeah,
because he's not going to stop doing what he's doing. So that's why he's hoping you say yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd have to see what's out there, but we do prairie restorations, because Illinois was prairie land before all of the development and all of the agriculture, and that's sort of optimal. The dry mesic prairie, we actually have a dry mesic prairie sample, you might call it, over by Hathaway Hall. If you go up that set of steps right there between the staircase and the building, that's a dry mesic prairie. So we try to show people what that was like, and we have some prairie restoration projects out by the North Pond and different spots, and so the restoration ecology department's really good about that.
So are you also the person who's in charge of growing plants on the side of the building? If people haven't seen that, when that's all blossoming, how pretty that is. That is so unique. I mean, it's actually on the side of a building, and yet it's, plants. It looks like they're growing out of the concrete, even though I know that's not the case. It's kind of what it looks like.
Are you talking about
over on Hathaway? On
Hathaway, yeah. on the north end,
where the Circle Drive is.
Right.
Yeah. So that's our living wall. We actually installed that in 2016. We did that, and they're called woolly pouches, woolly pockets. And it's 100% recycled plastic, and you can find these online. They're highly absorbent pouches that you can hang to what we have it on, a big wooden wall. And then you water them. We water them by hand, and they hold the water well enough. And we tend to plant shade-loving plants in there, coleus, hostas, ferns, things like that, because that particular spot doesn't get a ton of sun. But I love that. It's a fan favorite, and people like to take pictures there.
Op,
yeah, as a backdrop. It's good. I love that spot.
So you got a big conference coming. I want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Right around the corner here. Now, it's called the iGen Conference, but you'll have to let folks know what the iGen is, because I'm not familiar with exactly what that stands for.
It's the Illinois Green. No.
Did you do your research?
I did a little bit. Yeah.
Well, go ahead. You can tell it.
No, that's okay. We'll let him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so iGen, is the Illinois Green Economy Network. What that is a consortium of Illinois community colleges that get together and partner on various sustainability efforts throughout the state. So whether that's grant applications with the Illinois EPA, or just communication. It's a network, so that like City of Chicago colleges called me and asked me something about our solar the other day, and if I can reach out to Kankakee, and they have essentially an equivalent of me there, and we can say, hey, how did this go for you guys? And but they have an annual conference every year. Last year was at Kankakee, which was really cool. We learned a lot about what some of the other colleges are doing, what some of the incentives and opportunities are out there from Ameren and from the state. And then like small things, I think it was, now I can't remember which college it was, but it was such a cool idea. They did what was called a repair cafe. And they essentially, instead of throwing away a piece of equipment or what have you, an old TV or something like that, you could take it to this cafe and they would promote it. And, local tinkerers, you might say, people that like to just fix things, would sign up to hang out at this cafe, and you could bring in your appliances or whatever and hang out, and they would fix your appliance for you.
Wow.
And it's a really cool idea. I'd never heard of anything like it. And I was like, I wonder if we could pull something off.
We have a couple of TVs around these studios that could use some work.
I wonder if they could fix a couple of broken down guys like us.
Well, I don't know about that.
No.
Yeah, it's whether it's electronics, but it was just with the idea being, hey, don't throw this away and have it end up in a landfill. Like if somebody, it'll just connect you with somebody that might know how to fix it. Right. So it's stuff like that, like little ideas or big ideas. And so some of the, we're going to have Energy Sense, as an example, will be at this conference doing a little presentation.
And there's an event the day before with another group with a different acronym, but they are connected in some way, right?
They are. So, yeah, and that gets to Energy Sense. So Lewis and Clark actually received a grant called the Energy Benchmarking and Efficiency Program. It's essentially Energy Sense will partner with Lewis and Clark and other colleges that were awarded the grant and help them determine how to benchmark the energy usage across our campuses, across even down to our buildings. So my goal as a sustainability manager is saying, let's start collecting this information. We're actually not sure which of our buildings are the most or least efficient. So my goal has been to target the low-hanging fruit. So we're hoping to sub-meter all of our buildings so we can start collecting that data and say, hey, Hathaway, just as an example, I'm just spitballing. Hathaway actually isn't very efficient. We have to use so many kilowatt hours to keep it warm or cool in the summer. But we don't have necessarily access to that data right away at a granular level. So EBEC, or the Energy Sense, that's the goal. They're going to help us create that plan and plug that information into software and help us fund the sub-metering. So.
Now, there's been a number of initiatives over the years. I've been here a long time. You were just talking about something you did in 2016. And there's been a lot of compliments on some of the sustainability efforts that we've done here at Lewis and Clark that you guys have done. And I noticed that's a big part of that conference, hosting it, that you're sharing some of those things. Can you give us a little sneak peek on some of those things that you might be talking about on what we've done here at LC?
He's got Dr. T's notes. So
Yeah.
you don't want to give away all the secrets.
Yeah. Well, what I'm really excited to show off is the greenhouse, because iGen actually the past 2 years has funded a greenhouse renovation. So it's a modest setup that we have over there at the end of Trimpe, ATC. We were finding that it was getting so hot in the summer that it was really difficult to maintain plants, the plant life in there. So we would whitewash it every year to try to reduce the light infiltration. Well, we went to iGen. We said we would like to replace this glass with a polycarbonate glazing instead that will increase the R value, the insulation value of the greenhouse, and then also reduce some of the light. So it'll keep it warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer. And then we got rid of the gas-powered heaters in there, replaced them with electric heaters, and we're looking at the ventilation system to try to fix that now. So I love it in the greenhouse anyway, just because it's a
home
cool
away
little
from
spot.
home.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I'm also excited to show off what we've done in recent years, thanks to iGen's funding.
So the pressure's on. You've got all these folks coming from all across the state, and they all love nature, sustainability, just the whole bit. Mm-hmm. And you've got like less than a month to have the campus looking like perfect and green and flowers everywhere. And can you pull this off?
Well, I think we can do it. I think things are already looking good. I feel like we're ahead of schedule. I've got a really good team. Katie Piper is our horticulturist and garden designer. We're gearing up for the garden show this year. We're really excited to get to planting. Especially, we both get really excited once the weather starts to warm up and you start hearing the birds. But we're really looking to get the community more involved this year. We've been talking about maybe doing some gardening workshops through the summer where we can invite community members just to come and learn. I think especially post-pandemic, there's been a lot more interest in home gardening and community gardening. Part of that, I think, is the steeper prices in the produce aisle at the grocery store. Sure. People just learning different ways to use what land they have and what opportunities they have. And it's therapeutic too, honestly, to get out there and get your hands dirty. And then when you have something at the end of it all and you can harvest some produce or even something that you might be able to use for a balm to get rid of a bee sting, whatever the case may be. I mean, I've done that before, and it's
my wife would love that. I would fail that class.
What's cool about it though is that trying to bring more people to campus, and that's something that we've talked about for a while. I know it's big in Dr. T and we have a lot of community members coming on campus for one thing or another.
Sure.
But even expanding it to do something like that, to say, hey, look how beautiful the campus is. Do you want to be a part of it? I think it's a great idea. Fantastic.
Yeah, we're really excited about we've always, we've been doing the garden show for many years, and people they come and they take tours or they take pictures for weddings or for prom or what have you, and we take a lot of pride in how nice things look. We also want it to be, people to be learning something when they come and visit too, and really kind of see gardening as a revolutionary act that something you can participate in, and you can grow your own food. You can make your home look a little bit nicer and encourage pollinators, and you can really make an impact.
Well, I would be a big challenge for you if you were trying to teach me how to do all this stuff. I'm just not good at that stuff at all.
Can I get rid of wasps and still keep bees, or is that bad?
Well, wasps.
Well, the wasps don't like it.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Yeah.
They're not as good of pollinators, but they are pollinators too.
I knew I was going to say that.
But
See, you're lucky he let you slide on the fertilizer.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
no, I'm realistic about how these things work, and what people can reasonably accomplish. And if there's a bunch of wasps right in your face, they tend to have an issue with personal space, these wasps. But I guess I've gotten so used to them, they don't bother me. My wife was kind of having a problem with them on our deck the other day.
Yeah.
She said, these wasps, we got to get rid of them. But they don't bother me.
They know you're your friend. They're not going to bother you.
It's about the attitude. They do have an issue with personal space, though. They like to get in your face.
So your iGen conference is April 15th and 16th.
That's right.
Good luck. Have a great time with it and show off our place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're really
absolutely. So if you didn't know, you're tuning in and you love the way the campus looks, this is the guy
And his
here.
team. Yeah,
and his
that's
team.
right.
Yes. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be right back with more of the A2Z Across LC podcast after this.
We are.
LC A to Z.
What's up? It's Mike Keith. What's up, bro? Back to spotlight other amazing alumni and how they discovered their path at Lewis and Clark. Let's jump into it. Meet Aaron Kellum, singer, songwriter, and producer. His music has been featured on shows like Love Island, American Idol, and The Voice, and opened up for One Republic, Train, and the Gem Blossoms. He's in LA living a dream, and he started right here at LC.
I'm Aaron Kellum, and I am a trailblazer.
Welcome back to the A2Z Across LC podcast, and we have in this segment Crystal Robinson, who is the Director of Student Services and Affairs, and her cohort, right? Well, anyway,
Yeah.
her right-hand person, Kate Kessler, who is the Manager of Career Services. Welcome, both ladies, and sorry I messed that whole introduction up for you, but welcome anyway.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So you've got a big event scheduled right around the corner, and it involves all kinds of folks from all different walks of life, and it's called the Lewis and Clark Career Fair. Tell us a little bit about that, what's going on, who all's coming, what folks can expect, and what kind of day is that going to be?
So we are very excited. April 8th from 9:30 to 12:30. We have over 50 employers coming. We have employers from all different sectors of the local community: healthcare, aviation, maintenance. Crystal's going to have a list of some of the examples for you in just a moment. It's a great opportunity for students to network. We had a career fair in October, and we had over 20 students gain employment, which was phenomenal.
That's fantastic.
It is also open to the community, and we had a great community response as well. So we are looking at kind of expanding what we're offering, including information about LC programs for people if they're coming to check out the career fair and find something that we offer that they need to get that job.
Perfect.
We can make those connections for them.
So one-stop shop kind of thing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And you said 50 or more that are coming, is that right?
Yes. Usually we have just one career fair a year, and we would hold that in the spring. Well, we kind of switched it up this past school year, and we decided to try the turnout for the fall. And because we had such a great response, we decided to do a fall and spring. because the employers that came were so excited about being on campus and the response from the students in the community. So they were eager when we said we were going to do another. It's a great way for people in our community to not only seek jobs, but also to learn more about LC. And it's important because we want our numbers to go up. And, if we can get people in the door and teach them about what we have to offer, that's a benefit.
We were just talking to Ethan about bringing people on campus for whatever reason it may be. He was talking about doing some gardening events and letting the community get involved to do that. So this is great. And that room is packed when you guys do this. I mean,
yes.
And the employers seem to be really, really fired up to be here. I mean, I would talk to several as I walked through the room. I knew many of them, and they really enjoyed engaging with the students that way, or anybody from the community for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we survey the employers just to make sure that we're offering a good experience. And one of the things that universally was said is they enjoy our students and they would like to see more. Okay. So we're hoping to increase the outreach to not just the community, but to our students to help them make that next move.
Right.
And I suppose there are probably job-related or even jobs out there that, as you mentioned, maybe you just need to get something, a skill established first. You're right on the door of being ready to get into that field, but maybe you just need to, there's one self-development skill that you need that'll put you over the top, or maybe something that's even job-specific to that particular the job that you can pick up and then be able to have that on your resume as you walk in and say, hey, I know you're looking for this. I already can do it. So it's almost like wherever you are in the spectrum, if you're job hunting right now or you're right around the corner and maybe just looking for that final piece you need to top yourself off and put yourself over, it sounds like you guys got all that covered.
We do, and we're very proud about it. And we're excited that, we've had some great responses from last time. But just to give you an example of some of the people that are coming, some local names that, of course, we all know, Coke Plastics is coming. They have several positions that they're going to advertise. First Mid-America is also going to be there. And then we have some ones that I was not actually familiar with, which is DraftKings at the Casino Queen.
Oh,
they're looking
I know who they are.
Yeah.
Don't you mind?
Oh, do you?
I sure do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you all know better than I do. But they're looking for dealers and they're looking for cooks. And so, I think that just looking at the list, it is a great variety. So it's going to be a lot of people that will be able to be reached.
Going back to the point that you were making earlier, too, about being that close or maybe needing a certain skill set. I know the IBEW often comes out, the Electricians Union. A good friend of mine kind of heads that union, and they just partnered with Lewis and Clark because they're needing electricians. So
yes.
I know that there's a program that's put in place. So they're also here to help fuel people to go into that because it's just going to train their people that they need. So we help them as much as they help us in that sense, and kind of both ways. So
absolutely, it's about making the connections and helping people to see Lewis and Clark as a part of that process, and useful in today's job, but also in future hirings.
Well, and there's so many people out there who, as they look at a community college like LC, they may be looking for that 2-year degree. They may be looking for the 2 years of a 4-year degree.
Yes.
But there are so many certificate programs and self-improvement programs. Sometimes that's all they need to be able to really hop onto that career path and go. So that's what I kind of was trying to allude to when I'm saying you guys are covered all the bases.
Well, and that's what we offer students in general. Like, yes, we have this career fair coming up, but if it's a first semester student who has an idea of this is where I want to go, but I'm not really sure what I need, we have Career Coach and we have other resources available to help students not just figure out what school they want to go to or what job they want to get, but what skills do I need? What's the pay? Is this going to be sustainable? Is it a growing, or am I going to have to move out of the area? Really looking at the pros and cons of things to make an educated decision rather than wasting time.
As a program coordinator too, so we're in our spring semester and there's a portfolio class that I teach, and a part of that is resume writing and things specific to our field. But loaded in my Blackboard shell is the links to Career Coach and to all the services that you offer, that students then can say, yes, I'm teaching you this way, but go ahead and compare it to what you can get in these other services too. Not necessarily from what career do I go into, but job seeking skills or interviewing skills or any of those things that might happen on some of those services you offer. So,
and we offer resume reviews. We offer mock interviews. I actually was in a mock interview earlier today with a young student who was very nervous and, kind of broke the script and was like, I don't know how to answer this question. So we, in real time, broke it down.
It's nice to be able to say, can you
Tips
think
and
back to a
tricks.
time when you were wishing you had that opportunity to say,
Absolutely.
time out, phone a friend. How do I answer this? It's kind of like you're the phone a friend,
Well,
right?
and from somebody who's hired multiple people in the past and been on hiring committees, I can say, these are questions. These are the kind of answers you need to give. Use your own voice and helping them develop that.
yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. What are some of the unique trends, if you're aware of them, in the job market right now? Are there some things that are really hot fields that a lot of folks are either wanting to go into, or there is a big need for?
People who can operate AI and who can work with AI, I think is the thing that we're hearing about more and more. Because we're even having to use it in the classrooms, so it's integrated into just about every aspect of our lives now. And so the employers use it in various ways. And so we're still learning about that, and we can share that information with students and with instructors so that they can be aware of what employers are looking for.
Things are just always changing, aren't they?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, even, the editing of this program, right? I mean, so Olin Bill, David O, will edit it. There are many, many programs that can make his editing so much easier by just using AI to make it happen. I mean, it's really, really cool, and it's not going anywhere. So to embrace it.
I'm not really sitting here. I'm just an AI version of myself.
Sadly, that's coming.
I know it is. I know.
Yeah, it's
yes,
coming.
I'm sure you're probably right.
I just planned an entire summer trip with the help of AI.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like a travel agent that doesn't get mad when I ask him to reroute and
the funny thing about AI, I've never had it respond to me in a negative way.
No, it's always,
say,
what a great idea.
Stupid question. It's like, wow, that's brilliant. And I'm thinking, who are you trying to fool? You just want me to come back with another question. I know what it is.
With some of the paid subscriptions for AI, you can customize the voice. You can have a voice with an accent, and there are also different educational levels that you can make your person have as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's pretty cool, to have this virtual person or virtual assistant, absolutely, that can help you do just about anything.
When I grew up, they used to frown on when you had this invisible friend that could speak.
But we went through some training. Faculty went through some AI training. I think it was open to everybody, really, but on how we could use AI in the classroom, not only to uncover when it's being used by students, but to actually use it as a resource to make us better as educators, but also to teach students how to use it to work and be beneficial to them and not just something they lean on as a crutch. But, I think the first thing was, think of it like when the calculator was first introduced into the classroom. Did we not like the fact that the calculator came in, or did it make it quicker? So anyway, I don't know how we got off on that tangent. But no, your career fair shortly will be filled with companies that are probably going to look at somebody who can do AI.
Well, and students can put their resumes in AI and get real-time feedback. You can put for this field, and it will compare it based on other resumes that have been uploaded and give you the feedback that I may not have because I'm not in that field.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. Yep. Fantastic.
So, Kate, I was just curious if you were going to give 3 tidbits of advice to someone who is getting ready for that interview, and you talked about the last one you just went through and they were nervous and all that. That's probably one of the biggest things folks face, because I don't know what they're going to ask me. I've got to be ready, and I haven't done this before, or maybe I have, and the last one wasn't that good. What would you tell folks? What are the top 3 things that would give them the confidence to be able to jump into that interview that they want to be, so successful at?
So I encourage people to write down bullet points of strengths, and I give them 3 questions. What are my strengths? Why do I want to work here? And why am I better than other candidates?
That's the hard one, though, isn't it? Because you don't want to sound
but that
too
way
proud. But
you can formulate your response and then write down those bullet points. You're not writing a paragraph and reciting it. No, you're just, I'm friendly, I'm outgoing, I'm organized, these other people might have some of these, but I have all of them, and this is why you want me. You're not, you're selling yourself, and nobody else is going to sell you. So you have to learn how to be comfortable with that, even if I'm terrible at it, but I've learned how to do it so that I can advance in life.
And it's a skill that a lot of students just don't have, or they don't know that they're supposed to have it, or that they can use it in that way. So empowerment is a big deal, when we are working with students and their resumes and trying to prepare them for various interviews. And the 3 questions that Kate just mentioned are huge when you're working with a student, because it gets them focused in on the things that they're going to have to say and that they should say during an interview.
The other 2 points that I would have is to have your resume up to date, polished. As I mentioned earlier, we do offer a service of resume review. There are many online as well, even free versions. You can pay for it, but you shouldn't.
especially if you're looking for a job. You can't afford it.
Right.
Right. But then the last piece is to dress the part. Know what know what the culture is. We do have a career closet on campus. If students are in need of professional wear, they can come. It's a free service that we offer. We want to help students put the best foot forward, and sometimes having the right outfit on, as cliche as it sounds, really does change the mental game.
So a little bit of pre-interview research can go a long way.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you got a lot of work ahead of you here. That's going to be a busy day.
Yes, but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Got to entertain all those folks on campus and make sure they're all comfortable and feel welcome, and which I know you always do, but they're here to do business. This is a big day for them, too.
Yep, sure.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
guys have a great time.
And the date of it again is, and the times?
Wednesday, April 8th at Lewis and Clark Community College in the Commons from 9:30 to 12:30.
All right. I'll have to walk through.
I'm telling you what, it's pretty full in there.
Oh, I'm
Please
sure
do.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Please do.
I'm not looking for a new job or anything like that, but I'll just come by and say hi.
We'd love to have you.
Thanks for being with us, Mike. That's going to do it for today's edition.
It was
of the
a great
A2Z
show.
Across.
It was a great show.
Fantastic. Thanks for sitting again for Cody, who's out doing all of his softball coaching and athletic director duties, and he'll be back after the season's over, and we kick into gear for the next year. But it's always good to have you sit in.
Well, I appreciate you letting me do it.
You want to take us out?
Sure. We are
LC.